Hi art friends! Come join me for a cozy, easy fall tree painting in gouache. This tutorial today is only going to need one medium-sized round brush and 3 colors. So today we're using titanium white, primary yellow, alizarin crimson, and Prussian blue. You can also use flat brushes instead of the round brush if you would like, or if you don't have all the colors, you can use primary red and primary blue instead. I did this painting multiple times. I usually paint with flat brushes more when I use gouache, but for this one today, I'm using this round brush. You can see the results are pretty similar actually. So all we need is our water, paper towel, a brush, our primary set of paints, and a piece of watercolor paper. Any watercolor paper will do. So just scribbling in the loose trees here in the background. I'm using my Koh-i-Noor giant pencil lead holder to do my loose sketch. Just shaping in those trees real loosely. Something I like about landscapes like this is it's hard to get it wrong. You know, the tree is kind of a big blob and it can be blobby. I'm going to show those. Some dead trees with bare branches are in the middle there. Doing those a little heavier because I know I'm going to cover this up with sky color eventually. So my approach in this painting is really just to sketch in a bit of the foreground, most of the details in the background trees, and there's just a perspective, a field, a little perspective coming towards you. I'm shading on the left. And I know I'm going to be using a lot of yellow in this painting. So now that I've got my colors out, I'm starting with a very bright primary orange. When you're making orange, you're going to use a lot more yellow at first probably than you think you will need. Red and blue are very powerful colors compared to yellow, so just be gentle with how much red you add in until you get the hue you want. So I'm just shaping out the bright orange trees that inspired this painting. The vivid, like on fire color that they've got. And I'm swatching out my paints. Usually do that at the beginning. I like to have little circles on my page, just little swatches of what pigments I used. And here mixing up some green, a brighter green, and then adding a little more blue and a little red to desaturate the green to do the bushes and trees in the back of the field underneath the bright orange trees. A little variation in that green, adding a little more blue, a little more red here and there to give some depth, highlights and shadows. And then starting with a neutral color, where I've mixed all 3 primaries together and a lot of white, leaning orange. So for the field in the front, I am mixing a neutral color that's more orangish gray than anything, and then purple in the shadows. And this is because in the reference photo, the brightest colors are actually the trees in the distance. And normally you have your brightest colors in the front, in the foreground, but this reference was a bit of an exception. Still, I have more darks and highlights in the front of the field than I do in the distance. So the distant part of the field is more of a neutral gray, whereas there's more value differentiation, more light and more dark as it comes closer to you. But the most vivid thing was those trees. So you notice I haven't done the sky yet. This painting specifically, I was deciding how to approach vivid orange trees in gouache because you could always paint the sky underneath. And I tried that a couple times and I preferred to paint around the orange. It just ends up being brighter because your color doesn't mix with the layer underneath. And yellow is a little more transparent. So as much as I wish I could just do the whole sky in blue and then bright orange on top, it just looks more vivid if you do the trees first and then the sky next, or the sky after. So I've done the whole foreground here, putting more yellow on my palette, lots more yellow. And then I have a separate little ceramic container that I reserve for sky color in certain gouache paintings, depending on my approach. And the reason is it just helps to have a big, first of all, a couple reasons. It helps to have a big amount of the same color paint because gouache will shift colors when it dries a little bit. It can get lighter or darker. So it's hard to mix wet paint to match dried paint. And if you are doing a large area like a sky, you will want to make sure you have enough that you're not trying to match your color halfway through. Make sure you don't run out of paint halfway through painting the sky. So I'm being very delicate about filling in some holes through the trees because I can do the light blue with the opaque white over the orange pretty easily, but I can't add the orange back very easily once the blue is on the page because they're complementary colors. So that's something to be aware of as you carefully complete the sky. It will take longer this way. I encourage you to try both ways actually. At the end of this video, I'll show you how I did 5 different versions of this painting before I decided on this one. This is actually the 5th version. And it's the first version that I did with this brush, weirdly enough, but I like how it turned out. So now I'm mixing all primary colors to get a very dark, neutralish tone for the horizon line in the back of the field, to add some more dark shadows in the foreground of the field, some lines for the tall grass, and then dots for texture on the top of the field. I'll be doing some highlights as well. Can get some variety there, so a little brown, a little gray. Now I'm mixing up a darker neutralish green using, again, all 3 colors, so a little bit of red. After you make a bright green, we'll dull it down or make it more muted, more natural looking actually. So here I am just creating some different muted green tones in the distant trees. Creating some more highlights and shadows, a little more variation in the shadows, a little blue, a little more red. And then there's some lines across the field to suggest more distance. I'm mixing up a warmer, muted neutral with more yellow want the field to be a little more tan colored. Maybe I should have done a little more red, but it was not as bright as the trees in the background. Now the first layer of the painting is done and dry. Now we can go back in with more details and more layering in the next steps. I'm just adding some variation to the orange trees, a little more muted brown colors in the shade, a couple pops of bright red. And now I am doing the bare branches of the dead trees and the branches and the orange trees in the background. The one thing I would say about this brush is I definitely could have gotten thinner lines with this brush. That's on me. I know this brush makes very delicate thin lines, but it's thicker gouache, and I think it just would have helped if I had used a smaller brush for the tree branches. I think they would have been a little sharper, a little more detailed. Or I could have practiced more with this brush, so compared to the other one I did, which I'll show you at the end, using the small brush for the trees was helpful. So no shame if you want to do that. It was actually quite the challenge to make thin lines with the larger brush. So either way, good practice. And then more definition in the field in the foreground. Doesn't have to be super detailed, just suggest large field of grasses blowing in the wind. And then this part maybe was a little touch too much. I added like a more purplish gray to the back of the field and the side of the picture, trying to give it more depth, muting the colors of the field down more as it reached the horizon line with the trees. I don't know if it had quite the effect I hoped for. Maybe a little warmer, less purpley. I don't know. It wasn't that vibrant. I wanted to highlight the orange trees in the background, so did a little bit different color mixing on the previous version, which I will show again at the end. But I think either way is it's an expressive learning experience. So that is the Raphael Kaerell 804 quill mop brush. I'll put all the description of the products below. I got this one in France this summer actually, so I just had to try it with gouache. That was the whole purpose of this experiment, is I wanted to do a landscape with this particular brush in gouache. And that's it. That's the tutorial. Quick little study with a pencil, a few colors of paint, and one brush. I'd love to see how you did. You can share and tag me on Instagram, Kristen Brick Studio. And on the back, I just like to note what order I did the same landscape over and over, and I tried different things each time. So I just made little notes about which colors I chose and which brushes I used. So now you see me numbering all of the paintings in reverse order, 5 through 1. I hope they're improving as we look for. I hope, I don't know. The first one is definitely not my favorite. The second one I thought was too bright. See, I had to do a whole separate page for testing the layering orange on blue or not. And it just looks so much more vibrant if you don't have to layer it, and also you don't have to use as thick of paint. It's just brighter. So in this first one, I definitely did layer the orange and yellow of the trees over the blue, and then I decided not to do that for the next few, and then I was deciding on my palette. Here I'm using phthalo and ultramarine. I think I did ultramarine for the ground and phthalo for the sky in this one. In the fourth one, I really like the branches. I think the branches, it's a starker color, and I used the small detail brush for the branches, but those two are pretty close. That was my very detailed experiment. 5 different paintings I did of the same subject matter, and I hope you enjoy. As always, thank you for being here now, and I hope to see you later.